Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 1085 of Flow Wrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined today by the usual cast of characters. To my right, James Dean Rader, representing Husker Nation. To my left, Andrew Spey. He's representing non-Hawaiian today. He goes flannel and clutch.
Yeah, it's called the Garth when you wear a flannel with a band shirt underneath.
Okay. Going Garth, and then, who knows, wearing clothes from the 1992
Whoa.
era.
You can't do that because you've literally complimented this jacket on this show before, so don't try it.
It's not a put-down.
What? Where were you going with that?
I'm saying when your clothes were made. It's in no way an insult.
Okay.
If you take it as an insult, it could be.
Do you like it?
I love it.
Okay.
You know that to be true. That's been mentioned several times.
Okay.
And I normally don't wear team shirts, but at Cliff Keen, Las Vegas, Coach Adam Hall gave me this, and Spey reminded me that this is the most powerful Wolverine in all college sports.
God.
And I have to agree.
Yeah,
this
trying to
is
think
the
of
most
another Wolverine out there in college sports that would be like a tougher one. that
Even
would wear,
remotely. Look at this guy.
Singlets and shoes and
He's got
headgear.
shoes on and the headband. So Willie the Wolverine for Utah Valley is the most powerful one. So I said, you know what? I'll wear it today.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
It's not that crazy.
But you kind of got an RFK thing going on.
I'm getting over a cold. Vegas was not kind to me.
He just ran over a bear in Zilker Park.
Well, I'd like to invite everyone over to my luxurious apartment where I have a catered barbecue. Roseanne Barr is there, and I can explain the whole story to everybody.
Avery Gaming hit us with some fit check scores. You guys want to hear yours?
Yeah, sure.
JV, 8.2. CP, 8.3.
Yes.
Faye, 8.4.
Oh,
Tyler, 9.4.
Now I know why.
Wow,
Now I know why he
9.4.
wanted to read it.
yeah.
All right, I'll take that. All over 8s is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. All right, we got a full show for you. A lot of topics to get into. Some rule stuff. Talk a little bit of the upcoming dual matchups. I'm going to get into some other relevant updates. Bo Bassett update. Bo Bachelor, as we call him around the office. Has seen eliminate schools one by one. Another has been eliminated. JD, where do you want to start?
Well, I think we start with the Hodge rankings done by yours truly, because in the latest update, which came out yesterday, I switched number 1 from Carter Srirachi to Gable Stevenson.
Interesting. Okay. Why did you make this change?
So the Hodge rankings are unique in that they're both, it's like halfway a prediction, halfway a what's happened this season, right? Unlike the normal college rankings where it's completely off of past data. When you start out with these, you can't just be like, okay, this guy is 3-0 versus this guy who's 1-0. The 3-0 guy gets lead because, like, obviously we know that's not going to happen. But Gable had not wrestled the match when I first updated these.
Right.
In the latest update, he is now 3-0 with a 100% bonus rate. And Carter Srirachi does not have a 100% bonus rate. And I truly think if they both go undefeated, have similar number of matches, and a similar bonus rate, which it appears like they will, Gable Stevenson will win the Hodge. And as a past winner of the Hodge, he also gets a slight bump.
Wow.
And he gets a vote.
2 votes.
2 votes. That's
Wow.
right. So
He's going to stuff the ballot box for himself. What if he's magnanimous and says, you know what? It's Carter's time. I've got 2 of these. It should be Carter Srirachi.
And Starachi has 5 of these being titles if he's in consideration at the end.
I will say these rankings aren't completely just based off of predictions and vibes. Like if you go past the top 6, 7, 8 or whatever, it does start to kind of rely more on this season. Like I go all the way through 20 right now, and I gave the guys who won the Cliff Keen a bump, as I think you deserve a bump if you go through the toughest regular season tournament unscathed and you're still undefeated.
Focusing on the Carter versus Gable. Maybe let's play it out a little bit. if they're both dominant throughout, let's say comparably dominant, which it's pretty rare that you have two guys, because we were talking about this before the show. If you look at past winners, it's pretty rare to where it's not clear, right? It's often not super debatable by the end. It's
Right.
debatable all year, and then by the time NCAAs happens, it's
Somebody
you have
separates
clarity.
himself.
Someone separates. But for the sake of fun, I don't know that I feel like you have two things, and I think they kind of negate each other a little bit. I think Carter winning 5 versus Gable being generational, one of one type of talent is going to end up balancing or, negating each other.
And here's where we disagree.
You don't think so?
I think voters will look more highly upon Gable being a generational talent. I feel like we don't talk about Carter Storace the same way we talk about Gable Steveson. So if all other things are near equal, I think the voters will vote for Gable Steveson, who we have said is a generational talent. And we don't say that about Carter Storace. Maybe we should, but in today's day and age in college wrestling, where becoming a 4-timer is more popular than it was 10 plus years ago, he doesn't get mentioned in that same lore. You have sat on the show and have said, I have never seen anything like Gable.
Yeah. No, there's no
And so
denying.
that's why even if stats are similar, eyeball tests, and the fact that Gable Steveson is an Olympic champion, I think he will get the vote.
Do we potentially go down to criteria number 4, sportsmanship?
And that's another thing. I could use the cop out and say, Carter Storace, he just cost his team a point this weekend.
Yeah, I did learn that afterwards. I didn't notice it. I watched that Lehigh Penn State duel, and I didn't see the face mush or whatever got him that penalty point. But
Have you gone back and watched?
I have not.
It was a clear face mush.
Yeah. Hey,
So there's acceptable
establishing dominance.
there's acceptable mushes, right? That are just generally you can do it. If you like kind of do a little, you kind of post on the head while you're getting up, they'll kind of let that slide. But he came with a hard boom down on the back of the head, and that's gonna
That's number 2. That's dominance
no.
on the Hodge Trophy criteria.
I don't know if it loses you a team point. It's.
Sportsmanship is 4. You got to work your way
I know, but I'm saying records probably be the same. Dominance could be similar. Quality of competition. This is interesting too because it's rare that the two categories are basically the same, but you got 2 undefeated national champions there.
Right. Carter actually does have the, I don't know. Do you consider Kirk on the same level as Parker?
Undefeated national champ. Pretty close. I mean,
Kirk's dominant bonus point percentage isn't the same as.
it's not, but heavyweight sometimes can be. It's harder to have that level of dominance at heavyweight. I think you see it less. I could be wrong, but yeah, I don't know. I think heavyweight is a tougher weight class this year, but I think Parker may be a slightly tougher challenge. Like Wyatt Hendrickson as the 3rd best guy versus Dustin Plott, and maybe those two are comparable. But in my mind, like Wyatt is a national champion caliber guy, a tougher guy to beat.
When you get to this level, though, I don't want to say throw out quality of competition, but it like deeper weight class doesn't matter.
Yeah.
To these guys, right? Because they're in such a different strata. So we're not really concerned about who's number 8, 9, and 10
Yeah.
in the rankings.
It's not like it's 2008 149 where it was like Metcalf, Palmer, Schlater, Caldwell,
Right.
Torella.
I will predict the other side, and I will say based just on vibes and throw out the rankings. The rankings will be enough of an equivalent. There'll be more dominance probably for Gable, and he'll be a little bit more impressive in his wins. They'll both go undefeated. They'll both win championships. But Carter, because he's winning 5, is a much cooler story than Gable coming back after 2 years and trying every other sport. And people are going to say, I like the fact that Carter was on the team for 5 straight years, winning 5 in a row. Gable was dabbling in other sports. He's already got 2. I think the voters go with Carter.
Door number 2, Mitchell Messenbrink, actually goes 100% bonus throughout.
Still give it to Carter.
Still give it to Carter?
I mean, I know what the criteria says and the rules, and you're supposed to go by pins and all that. But I think it just goes by what's the cooler accomplishment. No one's ever done it. No one will do it again. Most likely it's Carter. I mean, and not to be so open and shut. I'm not saying I'm 100% certain that's how things are going to go.
I'm not certain.
But I'm no certain. Wow. On no uncertain terms, I do think it's going to be Carter if they're equal.
Interesting. Yeah, that's how I feel. Well, I don't feel that way. I can't determine which I think is a better thing on his side. The 5 or just being Gable's teeth.
Yeah, I do think Gable is going to look more impressive. Like if you line up like the highlights and the dominance and the way Gable, I believe, will run through everybody, including Wyatt and a Kirk. It probably won't destroy them, but still.
Does he have 100% bonus rate?
Gable? I feel like no. I feel like someone will.
Like Kirk can keep it to a
just slow it down.
4, 5, 6 point decision.
I bet with the 3-point takedown, he goes bonus through like even Big Tens, but then at NCAAs, he slows it down.
Has like a semi where he wins like 7-2 or something.
Yeah.
I believe 100% bonus has only been done once. It's by Cale Sanderson.
Cale.
That guy again.
I think with the 3-point takedown, Gable will bonus everything.
Yeah. That's the thing. This is his first season with 3-point takedown.
Like he can just cut and take people down over and over.
Yeah. And honestly, does the incentive of dude, I could get off the mat pretty fast with takedowns now. Maybe that brings his bonus rate, makes it easier for him to attain that. Mm-hmm. It'll be an interesting Hodge race for sure. I think because it feels like Gable, Carter, Mitchell are going to go undefeated. And I think all 3 was super high bonus.
How do you feel about me putting Keegan number 3?
I mean,
it all hinges on that. That's coming up this month. A potential Levi Haynes versus Keegan O'Toole.
Yeah,
December 22nd.
Hope to see that,
or maybe 21st. I think that's a 2-day event. I can't remember if they're day 1 or 2.
Going up against the Stockyard Stampede, that would not be smart. He can be up there.
I mean, part of this too is also a little bit kind of opportunity. Like, okay, if Keegan and Mitchell both run the table and have similar stats, Keegan would get the nod above Mitchell if stats are very similar, I think, based on past career.
Yeah. It's
I know
early
is
in the
no longer
season for Hodge rankings. This is way early.
Super early.
Yeah.
But it's never too early.
Never too early.
All right. Well, good stuff. We will, we talk about Hodge pretty much on close to a weekly basis. And I don't think that'll slow as we're tallying all these guys and their dominance. So it'll be a fun Hodge race for sure.
It's my favorite college wrestling trophy.
How do you feel? I did include Parker Keckheisen and Bo Bartlett at 19 and 20 with the caveat that I include the All-Star Classic in their records, but it is not an official match. So if they were to both run the table, win out, technically they are undefeated and I believe would be finalists.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, it's tough for these rankings.
For top 20, I mean, for 19 and 20, it's fine.
Right.
You put them fourth.
No.
You have to interpret what the voters will do, and that's tough.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good stuff.
Chad wants to know how many undefeated number 1s will be going into NCAAs.
Going into? Will 25.
Maybe.
Seems like
Possibly you.
Ramos is looking really good.
he's looking really good.
Ramos is probably my, if I had to,
Do a revised pick.
yes, but I was going to say a story kind of coming out of CKLV. It's okay, Matt Ramos, the way he ran the table is still undefeated this year, and he looked really good doing it. This could be Matt Ramos finally finding his
Chip.
with regularity too.
He did say in the post match interview after he won finals that he wants to establish order on 125. He knows it's been chaos, and he knows he was kind of part of that last year, and he's done with that.
Yeah, be the change.
Yeah.
Did we talk about how Kozak and me did make the switch? We put him number 1.
Yeah,
At 125.
It was more hypothetical on Monday's show, and y'all did the thing. I don't have a major issue with it. I don't know if I would have done it. Truthfully, I might have just kept Figueroa at 1 for a little bit longer, but I do understand why you did it at the same time. But yeah, no notes.
Again, we hashed it out, but If Richie Fix had been undefeated national champion that year, then he may have earned the leeway to sit out a CKLV in some duels. But I just don't think he's earned that right yet.
I just don't think you can drop without losing.
I think
Not competing.
yeah, I
I
think
mean,
it's
he has competed. He's won every match he's
Too.
wrestled. I'm just saying.
Well, technically, he will have losses on his record.
It ain't January, It's still December.
Well, I was going to ask what Arizona's schedule is like the rest of December. Is there any chance we see Figueroa before January? Because then we're just kind of like, if you keep him in one more week, even though he's almost definitely not going to wrestle until January, might as well.
That's a good question, though. If he doesn't face any of like the top 10 guys, but he continues to wrestle again,
Yeah, where do you go put him back?
I don't
That's
know.
the thing.
Yeah.
Nothing until Jan 12. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Who could he see? Nico Provo, maybe, if Provo comes back, but Provo hasn't been wrestling either.
Gohoffer, Soto.
Sivo? Saracino?
Could be anybody for Iowa State. Cornell, Oklahoma. Yeah, we're not going to know. Even 25, Seymour.
Dang, and not a rigorous back end of the schedule for 125 pounds.
it might be Big 12 Spratley versus Figueroa before we see him get to number
Tested,
2 even.
tested.
Yeah.
Well, but part of a ranking, too, is also who is the best guy this season?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you have to apply. We could look at a lot of these rankings and be like, why is this guy still high? If we're no longer really factoring in the weight of NCAAs, like I think it can make it so you have to change a lot of things.
True, and I'm not. Nah, that's why he's still number 3 in the country. But if you look at wins and losses in the past year, and you take away what event they occurred at, which matters, no doubt, NCAA is weight heavier. But if, for the hypothetical sake for the situation, you took away he won these matches at NCAAs, and you just stack up wins and losses, his resume is like not crazy, right? Because he took some very weird losses in the past year.
But what I would contend with, if you look at it like wins and losses like that, but I look at it also the order of things. He was totally fluctuating and inconsistent, and then February 12th on, he was a different guy.
Yep.
So like you kind of evaluate based on that. It's really tough, and especially the guy's going to be out till January 12th now at the earliest. Unless, I mean, they could throw him at Reno TOC or put him in an open somewhere.
There's I think the F&M Open is like the first, so it's going to be the same weekend as Scuffle this year. Could see him at the Scuffle.
That's true. Yeah, we'll see. That's a tough one.
It'll be really interesting if those top 3 basically go, if they don't have any other big holiday tournaments. I don't think Purdue or Oklahoma State do.
I feel like
either.
Spratley's going to see some guys, though.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Purdue sometimes goes to a Scuffle. I don't know if they are this year
Yeah.
with CKLV.
Won't
but
Spratley see Ventresca?
Yeah, literally
coming up.
Thursday, a week
Yeah.
from now. Eddie V.
Well, if he passes that test, I'm just kind of thinking like if they both get to the postseason, like they might stay that 3 that order up until.
I don't know, man. Just like 25, it feels like.
Well,
I feel like we're getting lulled into a false sense of security.
Oh, yeah,
125 is
100%.
just going to be like unleash chaos again.
I don't think Ramos is going to go into even Big Tens undefeated.
It would be tough. But he's limiting damage. Guys are staying off his legs. His little his double legs really working.
It was kind of crazy though at CKLV. We were saying lulled into a false sense of security, but CKLV there were like no upsets at this weight until the semis.
It went chalk all the way through the semis.
It's not turning out to be the crazy weight we thought it was going to be.
Our long national nightmare is over.
That's how we know it's about to break bad. It could. I just don't see a lot of separation with these guys.
No,
Hey,
not
you
at
know.
all. Who's going to be hot?
Ramos
Third
could
week in March.
could separate. I think he's got the combination of skill, really good athlete. But man, him versus Figueroa. If I told you they're wrestling in the semis in March, like you do not know who's going to win that match.
Figs might still be my pick, even if
Yeah.
he doesn't hardly wrestle until February.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler already moved over to 133, which makes
Already, we
Okay.
talked about 125 for.
Well, I was gonna say who from the lower ranks. Sorry, there goes RFK again. Is Vince Robinson or Lillidahl gonna come in and crash those parties?
Yeah, absolutely, they could.
So they're 15 and
100%.
16, and so there's your chaos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
33. I mean, Crookham could be undefeated, but he's playing with fire against, the Braden Davis. He's
a top 10 guy.
I know, but one takedown, one shot.
Hey, all the Lehigh old heads that my dad travels in circles with want Crookham to pedal to the metal and score more points and not.
It's not a bad idea. There was one exchange.
That's not his style.
No, it's not. But that doesn't stop old wrestling fans from demanding that college wrestlers do things differently.
This style he's going to get bit. I don't know when, but it happened to Schlater. It happened to a lot of guys. Huh?
I'm worried about his knees.
I'm worried about his knee too. Some way he puts that thing. It's like, I haven't seen it this bad since Colat in terms of like the knee contortions this Ryan does. And,
I don't like to think about it.
That little Matt Ramos double leg may be the ticket to take him down if someone can hit it on him. Because attacking his single leg, it's unless you're like a Vito, and even he had to get crafty with his finishes. I don't know. Feels like he'll get bid at some point. Doesn't mean he can't win a title, but Andrew will probably be undefeated going into NCAAs.
Who O'Leary is now 141?
Yes, 49. Could see Caleb. Could see. I don't know. I think we'll have at least one undefeated guy at 49. 57. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen at that weight?
It's a
fun weight.
It really is. It's wide open. You got the number 1 and number 2 are
shelved.
Maybe it's a good time to transition to because I don't know if we want to go through every weight.
We got to talk about this Pennsylvania high school.
Oh my God.
Match. And
this is
the
crazy.
headgear, throw, toss, whatever you want to call it. Paint the picture for it.
District 11, just insanity. You got Nazareth, definitely a blue blood, and Easton blue. Like these are top, regarded Pennsylvania programs over the years. Great history there, rivalry.
Lehigh
Valley through and through. And it comes down to, I guess this is 215 or I don't know. Yeah, 215, last match of the duel. And if Easton gets a tech, they win. They're down 23-27. And Crossman gets the final takedown here. Tyler we can pull this in ever. So he gets the single leg. Really nice production value on this high school duel meet, by the way. This is great. Looks great. So he gets fired up. He gets the takedown. There's the tech. The ref's already not happy with him being happy he won a match. And then he tosses his headgear, and the ref immediately, he's like, oh, let me go. Let me cook, fam. And he goes and he takes a team point, and it causes Easton to lose by criteria 27-27. And the Nazareth fans here, super classy here at the end. He's got a double bird maniac here.
it's a high school kid. You got to do that.
I don't think you have to do that.
I'm doing it.
So
you got to add a splits to it, in my opinion.
Reportedly, the ref went to Nazareth and was a state champion,
This is the headgear
and coached at Nazareth.
No, he didn't coach.
That's not even a throw. That's a fling or a flick even.
So it's interesting
Slide.
because we're getting this slow-mo of the vicious. Oh my gosh, look at this hooligan.
Can you imagine all the children watching that and how they'd be influenced to live their lives after that?
Oh yeah, they're gonna be on the streets soon, slinging. Who knows?
Slow-mo.
Real slow-mo.
Oh, look at the slow-mo. Oh my gosh.
It only lasted 3 frames on the screen.
This video is now not safe for
That's
work.
what encouraged that.
Look at him. So look at it. This. I like this slow-mo too. If you go back one more time. So he's already not happy that Easton won. It's very clear. He's doing the very basic. He's just raising his arms up, right? No issue. And look at this guy. He's all over it. He's like, that's enough, young man. Let me get involved here. I've seen enough.
Enjoying a wrestling win?
What is it
on
with
my
district?
watch.
Yeah. And so he's already not happy. And he sees a little toss. And then he's like, all right, that's enough. And so he can take the point. And that changed because the first criteria is unsportsmanlike conduct, which this ref clearly knew. Mm-hmm. And so it takes the win.
This young man could never win the Hodge.
Oh, yeah. This renegade, forget it. He's out of control.
Troublemaker.
So in all reality, this is just an absurd situation. And it's like a movie thing. Like, wow, the ref used to go to school at the one place. Like, I mean,
you would have a hard time like writing this script out beat for beat and then showing someone and being like, well, this would obviously never happen.
Would never happen. Why would this guy?
Why would you expect me to believe that this would happen?
Like, come on. But it happened. It happened in front of everyone. And on the internet is not a good place for this to happen when you make a call this this foolish. And it's like, you can't even really hide behind the throw headgear rule when it's literally in the case book. Like, you're able to take off your headgear and toss it to your corner. Like,
Well, it
he
doesn't
didn't
say that.
no,
It's
it
something
does.
similar to that.
It says you can take off your headgear and toss it to your bench
to the
on
corner,
mat.
something like that.
Yeah, I'll read it
It's like
verbatim.
highlighted. Somebody found it. Coach Karam.
Jody Karam, the coach there.
of Easton.
Wrestle Madness is in the chat saying, "Where's Nazareth's headgear? He must have tossed it away."
No,
his
it's
away
in his
too."
left hand the whole time.
Oh,
Tossing the ear guards or any equipment to a teammate or manager or dropping it to the floor near the team bench would not be considered unsportsmanlike.
Okay.
Ear guards.
7.4.2 situation D. So it's obviously like wrong, not just in the spirit of the rule, just
The letter.
in the actual letter of the law, it's wrong. And when you couple it with the fact that this dude went to Nazareth, it's just insane. And
No good.
yeah, I mean, Easton is the rightful winner. Flow Wrestling Radio Live officially declares Easton Red Rovers the winner of this duel.
Crown him.
So
I think
let us be the first podcast to officially name them the winner of this duel.
wow,
go
we're the
back.
first podcast to denounce Diddy. Now we're the first
Yes,
podcast.
we were. At least in wrestling, but maybe just the first one ever.
True.
Yeah, that needs to be will we be the first to denounce Jay-Z? Or do more facts need to come out before you denounce Hova?
More facts need to come out.
Okay, wow. He's
Innocent until proven guilty.
innocent until proven guilty.
I'm ready to denounce him. You want to know why?
Tell me.
Because he stole all the thunder from the rightful kings of rap at the time, Wu-Tang Clan. They were much better, and then Jay-Z came on, and it's I'm on a boat, and I'm champagne, and Wu-Tang is rapping about street life. And
They're for the children.
Yeah. Get out of here, Jay-Z. I
Hova
denounce
used
you.
to sell snowflakes by the OZ.
Exactly. It's rapping about Well, I guess Wu-Tang had some stuff about that. Anyway. Bad influence.
Yeah, they were for the children, though. So, yeah, we've denounced Jay-Z, Diddy, and now this ref who made his home team the winner.
I think Pirate made a point that Seton Hall Pirate, good rules expert, if you see him on Twitter, but he pointed out that in high school, an unsportsmanlike conduct, if it ends up, that's the first criteria, but in college, it's the last.
Oh.
So if an unsportsmanlike gets you a tie, it's not going to matter. But in high school, it's going to change the whole duel.
But it's so insane that, and we've talked about it before, you can't take points. That's
Yeah,
the
it's-
dumbest thing.
Kill the rule.
Yeah, that's
Kill
got
that
to
whole rule.
That's got to go.
Is that the worst rule in wrestling?
It has to be. I mean, in a way, it's like it sort of doesn't matter because it doesn't like change outcomes in like other than like a team thing, and it's an individual sport. So there's maybe a worse rule. I mean, honestly, and I'm talking for impact of the sport, the college edge wrestling rules are the worst rule that's ever been created.
I'd like to kill those.
It creates pure confusion, inconsistency, and doesn't really solve what it's set out to solve. So yeah, I would kill. I think that one has had a worse impact than this changed a dual result, but
All right, magic wand time. You get to change one rule in wrestling. What are you changing?
So here's the thing. I had a tweet. On Monday I talked about stalling, and then I sent a follow-up tweet about it, and then I thought about it more. And it's like, well, this isn't a rule change. Stalling is already in the rules. It's just they just will not call it as written. So, Kale and I think David Taylor have both said like we should just get rid of stalling altogether. And so maybe the solution is just to kill it, and maybe you have a step out or you have other things, but maybe stalling, it just doesn't work.
If you get rid of stalling, it will not increase action. I'm telling you that right now.
Well, yeah, I don't disagree with that. But if you could replace it with a step out, I think it would help. But honestly, here's the thing. It just needs to be, if stalling just got, and that's my main contention, is like stalling should be way more normalized as a call, and then you wouldn't have as much of a freak out from the coaches. I think they should get hit early and often. I think if you can't hide behind I'm hand fighting and setting up. It's like, no, you have to have risk. Risk is part of the thing, and you can't just hide behind waiting for that perfect moment to take a shot or to take an attack of some kind. You have to put risk out there, or you get hit, or the double hit. I mean, read the double stalling. What's it say? Double stalling is when both wrestlers fail to initiate an offense. Initiate an offense. trying to score. You see this all the time, and it's just it's accepted. And I don't.
What if the refs are interpreting that to mean one wrestler is more offensive smelling?
Okay,
Ooh.
all right.
You're pretty strong. Smelling.
Yes, thank you.
So attempting to avoid wrestling action. And here's another one they completely annoy. Action to be maintained. Wrestlers staying near the center of the mat and wrestling aggressively in all positions. You do not see that. You do not see it. Guys can float to the edge with basic impunity. And then if they circle back or they do something, a shot happens, you get the action call. And we all know what's happening. That's the thing. It's like these refs, they know what they're seeing. They're not like, oh yeah, they kind of know, but it's like everyone's just kind of bought into this game that has been created, like the rule within the rule, outside of the rule, and that's how the sport is officiated. I think they just called it more liberally. I think it would be a lot better.
How far into a match do you have to go before there is not a legitimate attack in a college match before you are hitting both wrestlers with a double stall?
I think I want to say at 1 minute because it's that extra minute. I don't know why we have it in the 3-2-2. So if this is our extra minute that we're having, so there should be something happening in it.
Yeah.
I don't like. I think we've nerded up stalling too much to everything's a math. It's counting this or that. And I don't really want like a hard 1 minute, but in my mind, if no one has taken a legitimate attack in a minute, there's something wrong. And I think Ben has maybe touched on this, like the down block reattacks have evolved to a point where it is a big risk, but I think that's how you get to the next evolution of offense is by, continually attacking and finding that.
That's what I was going to say, where I do feel kind of bad because I know how hard it is to take somebody down in college. Like, it's not as easy as just, keep shooting.
Yeah, I know.
So
I don't want to be viewed as like I'm just minimizing the difficulty in taking an attack. I'm not, when I say I understand, I'm not saying I know it, but I can certainly appreciate it. It's really, really hard to do. But yeah, that's just my.
I'm at the point where I'm ready to throw in the towel on stalling. I don't think it's ever going to fix it. I agree that if you called it by the letter of the law and you had the referees say, nope, he's not initiating action, I'm going to bang him at the 45-second mark, and the other guy, and we're calling it, and that changes the behavior because everybody knows the deal. I just don't have any faith that we're going to get that even at the college elite level. I feel like stalling's been on the books for my entire life. It's always been a problem. I don't
think it's always. I think it used to be, and going back. I think there was way more action.
It could be.
And one thing that concerns me is like it seems like as the sport evolves and improves, it's just made everything kind of tighten up a little bit and made it a little tougher.
What's the difference between look at a high school match versus a college match? The levels and the margins of error just get so much smaller.
Yeah.
I still think I still think you're going to be able to find complaints if you go back and people are going to be unhappy with the way stalling has been called since stalling was initiated or started as a rule. And I think you're always going to have savvy wrestlers and savvy coaches finding that wherever each ref is going to call stalling this way, I'm going to go up and find it. Just like baseball players know an ump strike zone, they're going to play the umpire. You're going to play the refs. The better the wrestler is. I like a step out. Because the aggressive, you have keep the mat a small enough size where it's going to force the action into the center and make guys compete against each other in the middle of the mat. And then this is a little bit more magic. You said magic wand, so I'm doing my whole. Yeah. This is what I want. And then you have criteria, and the first to score has criteria, and that's the only criterion. That's the only thing we're dealing with.
We have always been on this train.
Oh, and not
the last,
but no overtime.
And no overtime. Or if you really want to, the overtime heads are going to yell at me, whatever. Fine, you have a 2-minute overtime period, and then we go to criteria. No write-outs, none of this on the
Everybody's fine with the current criteria of overtime.
Yeah, there is
criteria. It does go to criteria.
And then it goes to the writing time. Well, you earn your writing time. Well, you earn the first score. And I agree, that first minute, that's extra wrestling that we get, and there's hardly ever any action in that first minute. So now you reward the wrestler that goes out there. He gets a slight edge. It's worth a little bit more, and you earn that. Everybody knows the rules. That's my magic wand.
And I didn't think there was like horrible stalling in much of Vegas. I thought it was pretty a good set of finals, good quarters and semis for the most part. But those matches do stand out. And
I have a question. How married do you guys feel to the idea of starting periods on top or bottom, or like removing that choice so that every period starts neutral? Like, what if folk style is two periods, same parterre as folk style, but second period, someone's winning on criteria.
If you're going to keep
someone's always
mat
winning going in the
wrestling
second, and you start neutral. And
I like choice.
Well, I've said this. Why any periods? Earn your escape. The break just allows people to
and
bottom.
plus instant
If
death.
you're a true folk style harder, that's what you should want. Because
I like
at
the
the end,
periods.
well, you're,
Okay.
Extra part of the stretch.
I like the
stretch.
choices too because it involves a little strategy. There's not too
Yes.
many points where you get to inject decision points in a wrestling match. I kind of like that.
I love it. I think that's
guys just hate tough wrestling. You hate getting out from bottom.
Saved by the bell, whatever.
I just like the idea of you either of that way more matches get won for sure off takedowns or I guess off of criteria.
I think there's a lot less overtime matches just because, and Ben talked about this, just because of the 3-point takedown, that odd number. He broke down the math in his very Ben Askren way. Just like there's a lot of ways to add up two escapes, a stall and escape, etc. Whereas 3 throws a wrench in it. So I like the 3, and I like the choices in the period breaks.
I'm kind of being facetious because my thing is just we make this concession of choice for the viewer, right? Not necessarily for the wrestler. So I would even go farther.
I mean, I don't think.
I think we should get rid of neutral. Every match is in referee's position. As soon as someone gets an escape, back down to referee.
Just mat wrestling.
That's right.
We did get one question. Which would you rather have? The stalling be called the way you want it to be called, or step out point? So that gets rid of your edge wrestling, or do you want this stalling? One or the other in this scenario.
Stalling the way I like it, or edge. I want stalling the way I like it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can't disagree with that because if you could get that to happen, then that would probably be better. I just don't believe we'll ever get there.
No, but
Which is why I'm now on
wrestling
I think
utopia.
we could get there maybe.
I don't believe it.
It is kind of interesting. You know, a lot of sports are leaning more towards, offensive rule sets, but I can't think of another sport that literally has a stall point. You are not being as offensive as you can be. You are implementing a defensive strategy, penalized.
Well, the shot clock in basketball was because teams would.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like other sports have implemented that similar stuff, but
Isn't that what you just said? You can't think of any other sport that has implemented a penalty for.
I guess that is a penalty. The
That's
other
exactly
team gets
what
a
I'm.
point.
Yeah. So nice try. There's also a shot clock in lacrosse, so that's 2.
Oh, sorry.
Well, no, lacrosse doesn't count. Toxic culture. Talked about this.
Oh, you guys gave it to the lacrosse people, the community.
Not on the show.
Oh, we talked about all
Yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't
were
know.
there.
I didn't hear Monday.
No. Anyway, let's move on.
But just think about a football game where they're like, this team is running too much. Like they're not airing it out enough for us. Nope, can't have that.
Yeah, I guess the way they counteract that is with anyway. That's football talk. Anyway,
Yeah.
sure.
All right. Should we talk briefly a little Ironman that we didn't get to?
Yeah, sure.
Quick Ironman recap. Who stood out to you the most at Ironman?
Well, 38 was the weight we were super interested in with Blaze and Vega and Mendoza. And nice win for Mendoza taking out Vega. And then Blaze did what he does. He took out Sam Herring, our guy, in the semi. And then one takedown against Seth Mendoza was the difference. It was, I really thought we were going to see Vega against Marcus. I was really excited for that match. But, Seth was better. And, I didn't think it looked like the fully locked in Sergio we had seen at Who's Number One and Super 32, or I don't know what it was. Seth is better than anyone he faced at those two competitions, I believe. So I give credit there, but he looked a little like a step slower than usual. And Seth's a tough guy. If you're going to be a little lackadaisical in one position, that was really it. It was the quick escape from Mendoza at Bop shot and took him down. And, I think Sergio maybe relied a little too heavily on his leg defense, and the finishing is the finishing is improving at a really impressive rate at the college and the high school level. And I think Sergio can get away with that, diving under, front rolls, or really like a Nolf roll against most, but not against Seth Mendoza. It was really impressive exchange and just good hustle from Mendoza as he gets up, hits the head immediately in on a high crotch, and he tries to roll under, and Seth's able to double off and step around and get the 3. So really nice. I mean, Mendoza, he is a guy that just places high and wins a lot of matches at every tournament. Just like feels like he's in a weight with a legend almost every time. It's like Bo or Jax, and he's beaten Jax, and now here Blaze. But Seth's gonna be really good. But Blaze is just he proves he is what we know he is, a cut above, right?
It's a real deal.
D. Lockett took out Melvin Miller in the final. Pretty dominant win there. Cody Rutledge from Edmond North had a really nice showing. Jax Forrest and Rainey.
That was an awesome match.
Great match. 2 really fun wrestlers. And Jax gets it done. Ironman champion. He's won just about everything except regional. And he may never. He may never.
That was a great tweet because it's like, it's a perfect way to be like, oh, I'm awesome. Ah, psych, it's a joke about me.
Yes. Very on brand for Jax. But no, great tournament. I mean, Bo Bassett ran through it as he does.
I want to pull up that 3 takedowns in 30 seconds.
Like 20 seconds.
It's insane, dude.
You see, he took Cornell off of his list this morning, down to single digits.
Wow.
This is when Bo first started his unconventional recruitment process. It was
That you crafted.
that I'll take credit for it. I think
On
it's
this
great.
show.
Yeah. I wish I had more ideas like that all the time.
Spade literally said verbatim, what he should do is have the big list once he did the big list, and once a week lop some off like The Bachelor. And then Bo Bassett started to do that.
And he said, good idea. And he made a little YouTube about how he thought it was a good idea. We didn't see that until he was like halfway through doing this process. He made that video. So appreciate you, Bo. Glad you're listening. Thanks, man. When he first started, it was like,
Chael.
Yeah, wait, pull this on screen.
well, everybody was kind of, downplaying it.
I love it. Objective, Your Honor. Not even objection.
2, disgusting to see his level of cheating being celebrated.
Oh, that's classic Chael.
But man,
No control.
all over him.
It's so funny. There's 2 takedowns. Honestly, he's right. Hold on.
Oh, that one.
Hold
right
on.
there was no
This
control.
ref totally messed this up. He gave 2 on a takedown. And I'm with Chael. This guy gave 2 on a takedown. Did you see that, Tyler?
I did see that, yeah.
He gives 2 for a takedown, and he definitely doesn't have this second takedown at the time. Boom.
Okay, that's
right here.
control.
He kicks.
This takedown is probably not a takedown.
No.
Right here.
He's not
He
even,
kind of throws
not
him on
even
the
doubled
ground.
off.
And he's,
Maybe there. He just puts him down. This is the quarters, guys, of Ironman.
This is crazy.
so now,
Oh, man. He gives the little Marinelli.
Yeah.
yeah, foot sweep just for
Man.
fun. But now we're getting to
Disgusting to see this level of cheating being celebrated. God.
I love when Chael pops in the comments.
Oh, yeah. It's
great.
great.
Now we have real news, though, because Cornell being removed, that's a blue chip school and a blue chip
There's
destination.
still a few more where I'm like, okay, let's get down to the,
Get down to business.
Yeah.
I like it.
Shots fired at UPJ by CP saying
Not me. I didn't.
you said there's some that still need to be called.
You know what it's going to come down to, though.
There's probably
I think
still
UPJ
a
is
final
going to be
four.
like in the top 5. I'm not saying UPJ.
There's a good chance. I'm happy to see all of it play out however it plays out.
Actually, don't harass Bo Bassett to take teams off his list. That's some other person's tactic.
Well, look at the order how he's got it there: Iowa, Ohio State, Penn State. He's got a list down.
Oklahoma State at the bottom.
Rutgers, Michigan, VT, Iowa State. But everybody of blue blood except UPJ is the only Division II on there. But yeah, stay around forever. Bo explained it. It's an important school to him. They've been great to him, and he really likes the school, so he wants to support them.
Yep. So we're down to 9. It sounds like he wants to make his decision in the spring. At least that's what I had come to understand. So it'll still be a little bit before we know, but One step closer to the edge.
Ooh, who's about to break?
Did you see Terry's take on Ja'Cory's injury?
Divine. The healing has been so rapid. Like overnight, he was like already a lot better. He's on it. He said we will see Ja'Cory back. Was not
Didn't set a date.
no time frame. Obviously, not gonna. You wouldn't give a time frame there because who knows. But man, it has me excited that seems like it clearly wasn't like a tear, right? Because a tear would be big problems, and you would not feel better the next day. There's no way. I had a pretty miraculous hamstring recovery 2 years ago.
He had a
I went
hilarious hamstring injury.
I could like basically not walk, and then in a couple of days I was getting around good.
Do you credit divine intervention for that recovery?
No.
No, that was all you.
It did not.
You don't wanna-
It did not require the Lord intervening. I just think it was. I mean, my hamstring was literally black and blue for a big spot of it. But
And how'd you get that injury again?
sprinting as fast as I could.
You're running to first base in a game of.
I don't remember where I was.
Co-ed
All I remember,
kickball.
I don't remember like anything. That's the interesting thing. I don't remember anything surrounding. I just remember I was running so freaking fast.
Well,
that literally the human body could not handle that level of
yeah,
speed.
there's too much
started-
power.
Started to reject the speed.
Your own body was shocked at how.
It's like when Tom Cruise was taking the in Maverick, right?
course.
He's taking the thing to Mach 7 or 12 or whatever, and the plane literally explodes, right? And that he has to eject from it.
That's yeah,
Dude, spoilers.
He's fine. It's like the opening scene. Great movie.
yeah.
And so that's what my body did when
That's
I brought
funny.
it to Mach 12.
That movie hadn't even come out, but when you were sprinting to first base, I was like, "This is just like Tom Cruise in some Top Gun scenario."
Like, well, I mean, I'm not trying to take credit for it, but is that how they came up with the idea? Because I was very
Yeah.
public about
You
my.
did email them a bunch.
I did. email
Say
them
hello,
a lot.
Jerry Bruckheimer.
Hello, Jer. My hamstring detonated. Could this be a Mach 12 situation?
Great idea for the next Top Gun. I know you're working on.
The Cyclones need to get some of that Top Gun.
They do.
magic going.
They need a little
Some
CP
divine-
hamstring.
They're,
action.
they're hobbling into Christmas break.
Seriously, they lost Casey Swiderski for the year.
Mm.
Etchman Diaz is Coach Dresser said it was a high ankle sprain. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. Younger,
That's better than I thought it would be. Seeing the way his toe went in that clip, it looked. I was worried his knee got blown out.
yeah, a little bit of everything. Yeah, you got to be ready for guys to dive under.
Mm-hmm.
And then Younger probably gonna be out for the year.
Yeah, it sounds like they don't have a real final assessment on what's going to happen. You want him back, or do you want to give him the medical? He probably wants to get out on the mat, but
At this point, I think they should. I would medical him if it were up to me.
Heavyweight's gonna be
Like
a lot
Gable,
easier next year.
Kirkfleet, Hendrickson, clear
yeah,
out.
later.
yeah.
And then, you come in and he would be the favorite going into next
doubt.
year. No doubt about it. And plus, for Iowa State, he's not putting you over the hump to get a trophy this year. You're not. I don't think that's the team you are this year. Next year, who do they lose?
There is potential for a trophy if they have their best lineup healthy in March. That's a big if.
This
I
year?
know. You're telling me.
Who's
You're telling me.
top 5?
Terrakina, just on this lineup. Terrakina,
Not top 5.
Frost,
Not top 5.
Etchemandia,
Maybe.
Pinheiro, Chittum, no longer Uden. Healthy Gaitan.
Where's
So far.
Bachman?
Bachman's 84.
Carroll.
Carroll.
Absolutely.
Vestito.
Absolutely not.
Best case scenario.
No.
I mean,
they don't get fourth. Best case scenario.
No.
you can create a best case scenario that's
And it
like,
w-
But it's
Still,
highly unlikely. I
it is-
understand.
but more than highly. It's like, yeah.
It's just they're good. They're good. It's a good team. It's a good dual team. But NCAA tournament, that is not a team that is threatening for a trophy.
Right.
These team, I mean, yeah.
So if you get like, I don't know, 2-3 All-Americans and some guys in the round of 12, you feel pretty good. Guys outperform their seed. It's a good tournament, but to top 4, especially when Penn State's going to suck up so many points and Iowa, Oklahoma State, it's, yeah,
the race for 4 is going to be interesting. I don't think Iowa State.
it's going to be in it.
I would say that lineup is comparable to Minnesota's. who's currently at 4.
They have a guy that's going to score 23 points.
Yeah, that's true.
They're not even
it's
close to
comparable-
Minnesota. For tournament scoring in a dual meet, it's totally different.
Right.
They're like Minnesota, except Minnesota has Gable. And then all the other 9 weights, I would say, are kind of comparable.
Having a guy that you know is going to bonus
That's a
his
lot.
way to a championship.
But like Salazar and Echemendia, I'd say they're probably comparable point scorers. And maybe I'd go edge. I mean, Salazar is an absolute beast.
Iowa State.
Akinelli is like the third best scorer for Minnesota. Who's that? Pinheiro? Give me Max.
Iowa State.
Could be Chittum if he's healthy and back.
Could be, but I
A
mean,
lot of ifs. I mean, you can create a scenario where you're saying
the
best
guy's from
case-
Hamilton County. He loves it. It's good. It's good.
You know who else is from?
I'm just saying
Hamilton
there's a scenario where they are contending for a trophy, and you said that was completely off the table.
Yes, it's completely off the table.
It's off the table.
It's off the table.
I was going to
Cowards.
say.
If there
I
was
was-
something Cyclone on the table, I would have to take it off right now. As the
Clear that
team
table.
currently
Time to
coming
clear the
into
table
this
for
year, it was on the table. It was on the table for sure. But now it's just not.
And we love Cyclones here.
We love them.
Again, I said if healthy, come March.
Iowa State in our rankings project 29 team points right now, and Gable would almost guarantee that amount for Minnesota.
Well, it's just cogent counter argument, JD.
Honestly, I'm back in. They're going to get third.
Hold on, let's get Sion's opinion on this. That might also
know.
push me over the edge.
What would he call Pinheiro Young? Pinheiro Young. Saying that for like a half hour just because he forgot Pinheiro Johnson's last name.
Well, it's funny to get into the mind of Sion because
yeah, it is.
Scary.
it was when he lost to Oklahoma State, and so Sion went to Carter Young in his head, and then that came out Pinheiro Young.
But they were at 2 different weight classes.
Correct, but that's why it's fun to get into the mind.
Oh
of
yeah, yeah.
Sion.
Oh, how he got there.
Yes.
I get you. Yeah, because it was Caleb Fish.
Right.
Yeah.
But Caleb.
And Caleb and Carter both begin with CA.
Mm-hmm.
So you could see how he got that mixed up.
He gave Caleb Fish a nickname.
Man, all Cowboys look alike. Yeah. So no, it's tough. Tough for the Cyclones. And Coach Dresser was like, man, we haven't had a year like this. We're just totally. He's like, we're trying to think like, why is this happening? He's like, feels like we're probably just snaking.
Most likely just bad luck. I will say Dresser did say they trained hard this summer. They did a lot of live wrestling. He thought the guys had to get tougher. I'm not saying that's what led to this, but if you're looking for a reason, maybe that's it.
Yeah. Could be. Who knows? That's got to be a mind-racking, thing for a coach.
Yeah.
Like, why are we getting hurt?
I feel like injuries really are, for the most part, all random.
I did think that, and then Penn State's last
I think
15
that gets
years.
overblown about how little Penn State gets injured.
Yeah, Shane Van Ness went down for the full year. They've had
Strachey last
I think
year.
it's pretty rare.
Strachey.
Still one.
No,
yeah.
I mean,
Their ability to recover is insane too. Jason Nolf had the thing.
Nagal's been hurt.
yeah.
Not there long enough.
He literally never got hurt. Went there, got hurt.
Yeah.
Like I just think it gets overblown because they still win. Every other team, if you have a guy
Yeah.
blow their knee
I'm not
out,
saying
it
they're
ruins
not.
their chances.
Their guys don't get banged up, and that they don't deal with stuff. I mean, Braden Davis this year. It doesn't seem to.
I think
Every team has like a year where it's like, oh man, they're so just unlucky this year. I've seen it with every team. I feel like I haven't seen that with Penn State.
Well, it helps when you can throw in Tyler Kasak, who's going to get third.
Yeah, it's the same thing with everything else. Like if a recruit doesn't pan out and it's one of your top recruits, but you only get a couple top recruits every year, it's a huge deal. In Penn State, you'd never notice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, if y'all don't, yeah, I think it's different.
Nah, I think they
No,
I think they have more talent. And
you don't think they do something different in recovery and you don't. That is just insane.
I know.
I don't either.
You don't think they do anything different?
I don't think there's anything anyone does in any sport that is much different. Otherwise, there would be pro teams trying to figure out how to keep their guy, how they do something special and different. It's
probably
worth
do.
millions of dollars.
I do think maybe
Billions of dollars.
I'm not saying they're the
possible.
most injury riddled team, and maybe slightly above average, but I think, yeah, just because they win, that narrative gets overblown.
Sports medicine is too universal to everything, where no wrestling team has figured anything out more than.
And it helps when their guys are so good, like Jason Nolf and Carter Sirachi, that you can have a very serious injury and still win a national title.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I put it at a 0.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Y'all think it's not sports medicine.
They might do something different.
It's not just sports medicine. That's post injury. I'm talking in the lead up. What are they doing every day? I don't think there's something different happening there. I think
I'm willing to say maybe something different. All I said was the narrative of how little they get injured is overblown. That's all I'm saying.
I can't remember who I heard this from, but I have heard that they like they keep extensive notes on like every time someone does get hurt, they like note how it happened.
I told you that. That's absolutely true. Like they could go back to a practice in March of 2011 and they would know. Like I don't think it's a mistake, an accident.
Soriano got injured.
I think you can have levels. They're going to do it better than a high school team or a Division III team or whatever. But at the top level, they're keeping people not injured in sports is too much of a thing that one wrestling team will never have a marginal at best advantage.
I think a part of it too could be schedule. Like they're not wrestling at CKLV.
I think that is a factor that could come into play because their guys, almost all of them, are doing international wrestling and freestyle wrestling, and so their schedule is full. So I don't think they feel the need that they need to go to a CKLV or something else like that, and that'll help keep people healthy in season. And strength of schedule is definitely going to factor into that. But as far as like having strategies to keep guys healthy that other teams don't have available to them, I don't believe that's a thing.
Whoa.
All right.
Okay. I think that's totally nuts. We should move on.
I think it's totally nuts. You are giving Zare a 0% chance against Gable. I know we hashed this out before.
I'll say this, only because I don't think you can actually give a negative chance. If I could do negative points, I would, but I think mathematically that doesn't make sense.
You're crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a little bit of a bit, but also I would never, ever pick it. How could you pick it? How could anyone in good
because
you think he's
Gable doesn't have good parterre defense. And a gut wrench is a match ender, potentially.
Yeah, you have to get on top to do that. How would he
gave up takedowns at the Olympics.
To Geno. This is
JD, what odds would you need to put $100 on?
exactly.
To put $100 on Zare. Would have to be plus money.
Yeah.
For you to personally do it, what
Plus 300. Would you bet?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I think that's good value for Zare.
Insane. I think it is one. I think it is an embarrassment for Zare. I really believe that.
Yeah, you'd have to go to.
How would he score? He's not gonna get. You're not gonna. He's not gonna.
He also doesn't shoot. Like
I think
doesn't need to. I mean, Gable will take him down.
How would Zare get on top of Gable?
Go behind is the only way.
Yeah, and when does Gable get go behinded?
he doesn't. I know these are all good points, and again, Gable would be my pick, but to just dismiss how good Zare is insane to me, and how close Gable's Olympic final.
I just don't think that Zare could get on top of Gable the way Geno could.
Yeah.
Ever.
Also, Gable just kind of went totally off script in the Olympic match. Like he got up big and then he just started like operating on vibes and that let it get close. Like
he planned it because he wanted that big moment, like the last second takedown, you know?
Yeah.
Got him way more shine.
Geno and Zare couldn't be more different matchup wise. And I just strongly don't see how he would score. And I think the size he has now, his movement, his hand fighting is so he doesn't. Guys don't get their hands on him and lean on him and push on him. And I know Zare is I'm not saying he's ever wrestled anyone like Zare. I concede that he is a unique matchup for him, but I just don't see him able to do those things. And you talk about like things you wish for. You know, we used to have a segment called Willie Prayers where Willie would pray for something to happen. All I want is for Gable to wrestle Zare at the 2025 World Championships. I want to see it so bad. And I don't want to wait till 2028 or something. I want to see it, and I want to see it as soon as humanly possible. Gable was talking about it on the Bader Show. I need this match to happen. Did
Gable say he's going to wrestle freestyle after this year?
He It's yeah.
He didn't say no.
He didn't say when necessarily. You know, he didn't say.
So it might be he might wait till Olympics.
But he did say. I think he said there's a good chance you see him at the U.S. Open. And
Well, we saw him at the U.S. Open a year ago.
yeah, I know.
Can we change the rules to let Zare wrestle at the U.S. Open and then get Zare into America and then
I'm
get
down for that. I let Zare transfer to Iowa State.
I would welcome Zare.
They
and-
bring Cuba in. You know, why not? You know, get a little Iranian flavor in there.
Yeah.
I'm fine with all of it, just for a 1-year thing. Shoot, Bastida might beat him out. We don't know.
I'm with you. I'm happy that potential Gable versus Zare is back on the menu because that was off the menu and not even being considered in the kitchen at all. The chef was making up the menu.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got it on the menu, and I think that's great. Hopefully,
Now I want 2 pieces of that on my plate.
yes.
Do you think Geno is more likely to beat Gable than Taha?
Taha's gone.
Or excuse me,
Zare.
sorry.
Yeah, I do. Because he can really, he's good at attacking legs and he's good on top. He's taken him down before. He's really big. I mean, he sort of beat him, didn't beat him, but like, man, gave him the toughest match we've seen Gable wrestle since what? I don't know. Never. Other than when he lost to Kassar and, you know, he was a puppy. He lost to Kuhn.
I'm trying to think what a Zare over Gable would be. There was Fogat over Sasaki was probably bigger. So.
Yeah, I think so.
That was 1,000 times bigger.
Not 1,000.
But
It's 1,000 times bigger.
In skill reality, it's comparable.
No.
Gable, how much more?
No, look
how
at
much-
Zare's credentials.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with that, Christian.
I don't care. You can't convince me that on a technical level that they're in the same.
Technique doesn't always win.
Well, it does when you have the physicality that Gable has behind it.
It wouldn't have if the referee didn't put Geno back up. Would you still be saying this if the referee didn't put those two
Yes.
back up on their feet and he
Yes.
won a silver medal at the Olympics?
1,000% yes. No doubt in my mind. Listen, dude, every now and again I plant a flag. 2019, I planted a flag. Gable over everyone, and it's been mostly right. I had a couple wrong with Kassar, but there's just nothing like him. And now this version, I mean, the version we saw in 23 Final X and U.S. Open, he had jumped. That was the narrative. He's so much better than he was in 2021. And now I don't know if he's so much better yet because I got to see him against a Mason or, you know, a Greg Wyatt. But early returns indicate he might be. He's certainly bigger.
Definitely bigger.
He's definitely bigger.
Yeah. I love seeing the strength and that has not sacrificed any speed from what we can tell.
Yeah.
I think I'm just trying to think what the odds would be for me. It's a good question. Like giving Zare a 5% seems super low, but then also high at the same time. So maybe between 1% and 5%,
Yeah.
which is like plus 1,000, plus 2,000,
Yeah.
3,500 even. Anyway, it'd have to take a lot because I would bet on Gable. But you know, if there's more information that comes out, that'll obviously change things. But right now,
Also, let me know. I mean, give me an Iranian in a highly tactical match, and how's that going to go?
Let
I
me.
mean, they are.
That's Donnie beat Taylor.
They are. Yeah, 1 out of like 6 times. They
That's
are.
Donnie beat Godoyev.
They massive. Oh my gosh, that match. I mean,
diaper helmet.
that match was a sham. He was getting completely destroyed, and Godoyev bled out before our eyes.
he lost a lot of iron.
Yes. So
Amuzad world champ. Baby Oz world champ.
yeah, I mean, look at the last year they had. They are horrible tactically.
Almost
Gable
did get
They
exposed.
outplaced us
Caleb-
in team points.
Gable would challenge him. Stay on topic. Gable
Hey,
would.
you asked me when do
are-
Iranians wrestle
Because
well.
they wrestle well. They win matches, but when it comes to it's tight and it comes down to tactics, they melt. They're melting before our eyes. At some point, it's not one off. It is a trend that has to be factored in, and I would not trust them.
Not all the time though. Like Zare has won those tight matches too
He blew it
recently,
He blew it against
but he
Geno.
has won it.
Yeah, I know.
Yui was 82-0 and outscored her opponent 733 to 34.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was I don't know.
Got
If it's
taken
common.
down by another Indian wrestler one time. Fogat's backup, basically, and then she went out to torture her and beat her for the rest
Yeah,
of the
and Vinay's also not Zare. It sounds like I'm being a Gable hater, which I'm not, and I would predict him to win. I do think
Oh,
he's
y'all just love Zara.
best heavyweight in the world.
That's the weird part.
All I'm saying is I just think the gap isn't as crazy as you think it is.
This is Comrade Raider's Iranian Persian cousin.
Yes.
Yeah.
All that was just to promote that Gable went on the Bader show
Yeah.
yesterday or 2 days ago, and you should go watch it.
I think he would. Yeah. Oh, I need it so bad.
Tanner Huffman said CP is a homer to the extreme. I love it. American flag emoji.
It's not even an American thing. It really
It's a
isn't.
Minnesota thing.
I just love guys from Indiana that wrestle from Minnesota.
All right, let's pivot to this weekend in NCAA wrestling. Kind of a little bit of a
Light.
quieter weekend, but we do have Bedlam going down. That's probably the best duel.
Oklahoma's got a pretty scrappy team.
They do.
Like they're not going to win this duel, but they match up kind of scrappy in the first 5, right?
And Oklahoma's got guys that are going to give you competitive matches, which is what you want in a duel. Even if it's lopsided, you're going to have tough bouts.
There's a few.
Do we like that in a duel that you can win 10 matches by 1 point and you will win 30-0, and it kind of shows the true accuracy, but it kind of doesn't at the same time.
Should you get the freestyle point for losing with points?
Yeah.
I think it's fine. I kind of like. I have seen like, what's it called? I forget who it was, but I had a long conversation with someone like keeping like running scoring. Like, all right, Wyatt scores 20, you get 3. It's 20-3 going into 125, and Spratley.
Then the pins.
Yeah, but pins were 10 or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
You get some bonus points.
And you'd have to
20.
tech fall would like.
No text.
Yeah, I was about to say he almost
No
got one
text.
text.
Just running score.
100-4.
Yeah.
Right, just Satiev on him.
Oh man, decline the tech.
The most interesting match in Bedlam, I think, is probably going to be Tegan Jameson versus Moshe Schwartz.
Moshe's beat a lot of really good wrestlers. He's beaten Happel multiple times. He's beaten Swiderski, Edmund, etc. This is a good. Moshe's really tough. This is a good match for Tegan. For Tegan coming off a really good Vegas, keep that momentum rolling. You favor Tegan, and they've never hit because Moshe was out last year. But I think this is gonna be a competitive one. I think 25. Lorenzo is tough and not going to be. I don't see Spratley getting bonus there. I think it could be in the balance. Troy will wrestle a 1-2 takedown match at times. So I think that one is one to keep your eye on as well.
I like that we're getting David Taylor, Roger Kish. This could be a start of a long rivalry between these coaches. I think obviously David Taylor and Oklahoma State are starting from a point of an advantage. But I think wrestling is better when those two schools, college wrestling is stronger and better when those two schools have a healthy rivalry.
Yeah, look at what Iowa and Iowa State, since, Coach Dresser sort of brought Iowa State back.
Mm-hmm.
Like that duel is really important for the state. Like, it's not there for Bedlam yet, but it would be awesome if it was.
He's just off to a good start. He's bringing in some recruits.
He's good with the portal, although losing Buchanan, that hurt. But, he's kept it. They're going to be scrappy. It'll be tough. I mean, David's bringing the cavalry. They've got quite a crew coming.
Yeah,
next year.
It probably won't be close on the scoreboard for a little while, but again, as long as it's competitive, as long as the teams are putting on a good show.
You're a big just have fun guy.
I'm going to go out there and appreciate the fact that we get to watch these guys compete in their prime.
That's your inner Steve Spay.
That's right. It's a great day to be a college wrestling fan. Who will sponsor, Bedlam, the way Iowa Corn has taken over the Cyhawk?
That's a good question.
Yeah, Oklahoma Wind.
I
don't know. or because there's a lot of windmills, or something related to
Casinos.
Casinos. I
Oh,
think
the Windstar.
Yeah, the Windstar duel.
Obviously, you're saying casino.
Obviously.
Over
Gambling
Win?
CP.
Yeah.
Now.
Or maybe you were saying Win, as in the Win Las Vegas. WYN.
Anything. Anything with
that
a
has
craps
tables.
table works. That's all fine.
Yeah, I'm glad the intervention didn't work, by the way. Good
Yeah.
call. Good call shooing off those people.
Horrible.
You're not ready there.
Horrible timing.
I have never come into the office to see your head in the toilet, your hair in the toilet water.
Disgusting.
Disgusting because you had been gambling on the craps table too
No,
much.
never
We're
sat
not
on
ready.
a dog.
Never
They
sat.
crawled under there for
Got
warmth.
a little Cosette.
Yeah, no. So you need to find me at the rock bottom, and I'm riding high.
Oh, yeah.
Horrible timing.
Yeah, you got some time to. Yeah, your descent has just started.
Yeah, yeah.
Elsewhere this weekend, Penn State and Wyoming are wrestling.
Yeah.
Another one, probably not going to be too close on the scoreboard, but I think we could find out a little bit more about Josh Barr
Yeah.
here in this duel.
Novak from
Novak.
Wyoming is tough.
He did get hurt at CKLV,
Yeah, I saw that.
so I hope we see it. I'm not going to say for sure we will, though.
That'll be a bummer for Wyoming if Jory and Novak are out. Those are two best guys.
And two young guys for Penn State where we could potentially learn a lot
Yeah.
in those matches as well. So not just for Wyoming fans, but for fans around the country.
Fingers crossed we see them and they're healthy because I mean, Volk versus Lilladal is fireworks. That's a huge, huge match, huge test for Luke. But I'm worried we won't see it. But we'll find out.
2 U20 champs,
Yeah, true. Sure. Yep.
Oak and Lilladal.
Very good freestylers as well. So hope we see it. Don't know. But yeah, big test potentially and Wyoming's going to bring the fight.
Yeah, well, that's what. So to bring it back to Steve's Bay, at the Penn State Lehigh duel, a lot of the Lehigh fans were a little bummed because it was obviously a blowout. And said he talked to a guy that was at the duel, and the Penn State fans and the Lehigh fans. Sorry, we didn't. The Lehigh fan told the Penn State fan, "Sorry, we didn't give you a better duel." And then the Penn State fan said, "This is actually one of our tougher things, our tougher competitions that we're going to have, especially early on in the season."
Yeah.
So he thanked them for wrestling very tough, and there were
I
some
thank them.
tough bouts.
You talk a lot about your dad, Steve, but your mother's in town, and she's here because she's here to move your furniture.
She's gonna move all my furniture. I was like, Mom, I got Madden to play. I got my PlayStation out. I don't have time to move furniture to a new home.
Yeah.
You just let me know when you're done.
That's weird. That's weird.
Nah,
But,
she's not. She's here to visit. She stopped by the office. She had a great time.
Really?
Seeing all that because the office here is
really cool.
Very cool. Yeah, and everybody's hanging out and everybody was friendly. So thanks for being nice to her, not telling her, "Oh, Spade is annoying or does this."
Not telling her the truth.
Saint.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday was a big day. We had your mother, Wanda.
My mother, Wanda, Lisa.
Lisa, dang it. I don't know why I thought Wanda.
Because she's a witch? Is that what you're saying?
No,
Scarlet Witch?
Very nice. Nicer than you. And then we had Shane Sparks here. So
And Shane Sparks.
and Spay.
And they met. My mom met Shane Sparks.
Wow.
Meeting of the
Worlds
minds.
are truly colliding.
My dad told my mom all these things like, "Oh, you should know this." She should say, "Tell everybody that you saw Brad Dillon and Ben Askren wrestle live at the NCAAs." And all that. And my mom didn't remember any of that. She's like, "I think there was a guy named Dillon." And then she just told stories about when she was in college because she had one sister growing up, had no sports, no nothing, and then she meets my dad in college, and all of their dates are Lehigh football and wrestling matches.
Nice.
Spencer Lee is going to be back in action.
He's wrestling at
This
the
weekend.
Kanaya.
Are we done talking about my family already?
Yeah.
Yeah, enough Spay talk.
Yeah, plenty. Yeah, I don't know. We don't have the entries yet for who Spencer will be potentially wrestling, but we'll try to keep you posted on that. But always excited to see him back on the mat. His first competition since the Olympics. And yeah, that'll garner some attention. A couple other Americans going. I'm excited to watch David Carr at 74.
Yes.
I want to see how he does.
Joey McKenna's there too, as well as J.I.L.O. So
All fun guys to watch.
Good crew.
I think normally you can watch that on like Kazakhstan's wrestling YouTube page.
Keep an eye out. We'll try to keep.
Wow, wow, wee, wow.
If we find the link, we'll put it out there.
Kozak will probably embed the YouTubes if we can.
He probably
Good
will.
at that.
Knowing him, Tyler, you look like you were on the verge of laughter.
Well, I was. The chat's been making me laugh all show.
Oh, really?
Well, let me take it back a couple.
That's fine.
A few minutes too. So first of all, we were talking about how we're the first podcast to denounce Diddy and all these
Facts.
people. Larry Steele earlier in the show also mentioned we were the first podcast to want to free Britney. So
Yes.
Ooh.
And that's
I was not on that.
I'm ready to lock her up again, but she deserved her freedom for a little bit.
Bracky, he started that.
He did the whole movement.
Larry Steele did say, and we all know how that went. So
It went great.
Yeah.
He's free. I see way more audacious behavior on freaking 6th Street than I see from Britney Spears.
Those people should also be locked up, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with that. But my point is,
Locked him up.
if
I honestly am not hip to whatever's going on with Britney today. I
not
thought
too bad.
I thought her freedom was going great.
she let some things on fire,
Oh,
not
She
recently.
did a little knife dancing.
She's clearly just an insane person.
the other thing that was making me laugh is Peter James said, "Does CP have a gambling nickname like the Buffalo Gap Gambler?"
I don't have a. I don't.
Buffalo Gap's a good place to be from to have a gambling addiction.
It is. It definitely is.
Swayze also said piles of cash.
Oh, that would be my nickname.
Chip piles.
Here's the thing. You don't give your nickname, right?
Yeah, you got
Earn
to
them.
It's gotta come. So
gotta get it.
I'm willing to pay the dividends or put my time in.
Yeah.
To earn a gambling nickname.
I like Buffalo Gap Gambler.
I like it too.
There's a little alliteration in there.
Yeah. Sounds like I have 6 shooters on my hip,
Yeah.
which is very on brand for me.
Buffalo
Everyone
Gap
knows
is-
I just love having guns on me at all times.
You, sorry.
All right.
Field spray, bro.
Freaking.
Fine, I'm totally fine. Not contagious.
All right.
Yeah, Buffalo Gap, you hang up your spurs and push open the saloon doors and you belly up to the craps table.
Yeah, we do questions.
All right, question. First question is from the Salty Walk-On. He said, how many days, if any, is it acceptable to wear a Santa hat in the workplace?
I think you could do it once. Walk on. If you start wearing it twice, I don't understand.
Give me 365. I don't care.
365.
How about
Yeah, all or nothing.
All or nothing.
December
I've
up
wanted to-
until Christmas and then
Not in the workplace.
what's wrong with the
Not in
workplace?
my workplace.
It's kind of audacious.
Is it?
That's child behavior.
Listen, I'm not saying if the law will decide, right? I think it's fine in the law. I'm just saying if you want to be looked at as a kind of a weird guy, if you wear your Santa hat,
like you putting your Santa hat on to come and crank off some Excel sheets, like
hopefully.
Make it a bit.
it's
Yeah.
I mean, I've worn a Santa hat to like our holiday party.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sion wore it on this show as Santa C.
Oh, yeah. He had
Ghetto
the whole-
Santa.
And he had a ghetto. He called it Santa C, and he had a ghetto bag.
That's right.
It
Ghetto bag.
was just the Iowa State issued laundry bag mesh disgusting thing.
There's a show, I can't remember what show it was, but there's basically a guy in an office who's like, I got to become a guy so I don't get fired. Because
Yeah.
everyone's a guy. You could become Santa Hat guy.
Oh, that was
guy.
What They Do in the Shadows. That show,
yeah.
show just ended, too. A great
did
show.
it?
It's also a thing in the office.
Oh, to be a guy.
Ryan Howard did not want to be a guy.
That's right.
Oh,
And then he
yeah.
had a cheesy pita.
He was the fire guy.
Fire
Yeah.
guy. Fire.
Honestly, toaster ovens are horrible.
No, they're great.
No. The worst.
I reheat my tacos in them.
I love
Yeah,
toaster.
same.
Every
I
Wednesday.
get a lot of use out
Get
of
'em out.
toaster
It's
ovens.
much.
if they got banned, no one would care.
Is
It's
this
much
because
better
you
for reheating
reheated
the
some fish and
microwave.
Stunk up the place, and everybody got mad that you put your fish in the toaster oven.
I didn't do that.
That wasn't you.
I put it in a microwave.
Oh, that stunk up the place. Maybe
I don't
the
give a rip.
Maybe the toaster would have been a little bit
I
better.
don't care about
place for
their.
it.
You know what? I get the same flack when I microwave my eggs. I don't care.
Eggs don't
Just
smell
stinking
as
up the
bad as the
place.
fish.
It don't stink up the place.
That's
Fish
something.
stunk.
I stunk up the entire.
If you microwave fish, it will stink.
it'll smell like fish smell.
Stinky fish.
If you don't like fish, then you're not gonna like it. If you do,
You're gonna like the way you look.
I guarantee it. One time when I was working at the mental hospital, we were at this other place because there was a flood in the other one. Doesn't matter. This old place. And I accidentally burnt a bag of popcorn, and the ventilation was weird in this place that the entire hospital smelled like burnt popcorn. And they found out it was me, and it was really embarrassing.
Yeah, you're like Ryan Howard.
CP started the fire.
There was no fire, but I just burnt a lot of popcorn, and it smelled like that for the rest
Isn't
of
the
the day.
smell of burnt popcorn like the sound of a stroke or something?
Yeah, that could have been me.
It's the benefit of having 2 levels. Now, if they stink up the 15th floor, I don't smell it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So go downstairs and
That's what I've done.
microwave your fish downstairs.
I haven't microwaved fish in a very long time.
Since everybody yelled at you for
No,
microwaving fish.
no, you know, I'm a big leftovers guy, and Katie, for whatever reason, I haven't requested it, but we haven't had salmon in quite some time. It was because
Katie, if you're listening, what the heck?
No, don't. I don't want Salmon being.
Or just have it Friday. Just have it in the Piles household on a Friday, and then the leftovers will be gone by Monday.
You think I won't save it for
We'll have leftover salmon 3 days later?
just a spite leftover?
Oh, man.
He also loves to pack a tuna salad sandwich for a flight. He loves eating it on a
I don't know. Have I done
Big
that?
tuna?
No, you've never done that.
Yeah, I would do that, but I don't think I have.
It was just blind man.
I'm not
right?
above it.
So Link wants to know what American wrestles the most like a foreigner.
I don't know.
Yanni gets thrown out there a lot. He's kind of funky.
Kyle Day kind of did a little bit. He's
Yeah.
a little more. He lets the match come to him. He picks his spots, and when he goes, he scores. Really good parterre, which really good gut. We're not.
Sebastian Rivera?
Put somebody on blast for just a terrible gas tank. Who just falls off.
I'll say Abdulayev, who wrestled like NAIA or something for a year here.
Oh, yeah.
He's Uzbekistani.
There's an Arizona State 184-pounder, Ferzalayev, something like
Yeah,
that.
Slavakuski.
Oh, yep.
Say him.
Slavik, yeah.
No, I think Yanni's a good one, and so is.
I feel like,
Kyle.
tell me if I'm wrong here, and we did just mention him early in the show, but Cody Chittum, maybe a little bit?
What? He's like the most aggressive, like
Yeah.
hard-nosed
A lot of hand
fighter.
fighting.
He's
I'm
like
thinking
the
of his
meme of
shots.
American wrestling.
Like foreigners will hate him because you're too hard,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, like
Chill out.
All right, I retract.
CJ Kemp said, "What's the most egregious stall call you've seen as a coach, athlete, or spectator? For me, it was my first year coaching. Our kid was fighting off a cradle and got hit for stalling as he got put to his back."
I think for me it was the Iowa high school final, probably 184 Shapiro.
and
That was a sprawling ain't stalling. I can't remember who he was wrestling.
it was that kid from Michigan that he wrestled at Michigan State or whatever. Or he played football at Michigan State.
Yeah,
Oh, what was his name? That was so bad.
and it was literally just they restart off the whistle. The kid takes a shot off the
Right
whistle.
off the whistle.
Shapiro sprawls and they hit him for stalling.
Yeah,
it was like 2 seconds left.
It was super bad. Definitely rigged. I mean, I remember the ref's name. I'll say first name was Bernie. The double stall, like 10 seconds in, it's kind of as bad as anything you can really create. I mean,
I can't think of his.
I think
That's like that sounds like what you want.
I think I've seen worse, but nothing. I don't have a memory
Yeah.
that comes to mind.
I can't think of a specific example, but when it's the same duel and they can't get the edge stalling consistently, so some guy will go right out of bounds, but it's early in the match, so no stall gets called.
Yeah.
And then in like the second period, the guy they'll wrestle the same way, and now he's going to start banging guys left and right.
Sam Stoll, Mason Paris had a super bad one at NCAAs where they kept the same thing kept happening, and they would call it something different like every time.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
nuts.
This isn't a stall call necessarily, but really bad. I don't know if it's passivity or what it is, but the Jamalov.
Oh man,
I'm
Oh,
drawing
Valiev?
Valiev.
Flea.
that was so bad.
Yeah, fleeing
Very
counts in the
bad.
stall call, and there's a couple in the freestyle world.
That was crazy.
Ugh.
That was so bad.
I hate situational stalling where a guy's the aggressor for 6.5 minutes and I feel like kind of earned the right to
And they're
stall
winning,
a little bit.
so
and it's
let's
like-
catch the guy up a little bit.
Right. Like
not
if this
ma-
happened
yeah.
in the first 30 seconds, you don't call anything and we don't even think about it. But because this guy's winning and it's the final 30 seconds of the match, now it's stalling. Where were you for the first 6.5 minutes?
Yeah, that drives me nuts as well. And I don't mind that stall call on the guy the last 30 if the other guy's been hit for stalling throughout at a similar kind of
Right.
rate. But when it's sort of ignored and then last
Or if it's
30
egregious, like they're just completely disengaging.
turning and running.
Right.
All right. Next question. Name cannot be blank. Said, I didn't see any Drake Rhodes love last show. Dude was third stringer at Iowa and lined up a lot of great wins, including Garvin to take fifth at CKLV.
Good job, Drake Rhodes.
Good job, Drake Rhodes.
Good point. Name cannot be blank.
Yeah.
Country Roads taking him to Brookings.
Next question is from Two for Takedown. Said, a tragedy how 157 is the weakest weight in the country. The only thing exciting about it is how wide open it is.
Wow.
Agree or
A
disagree?
literal tragedy.
Yeah,
This is the worst tragedy I can think of.
yeah. I was just about to say I could think of way worse tragedy.
I'm trying to. This is as bad as it gets, folks.
He didn't say it's the worst tragedy. He just said a tragedy.
It's just a tragedy.
A
That's
tragedy.
true.
It is fun though in that a lot of weights there's a clear number one guy. Not at this weight.
I would consider it the opposite of a
Yeah.
tragedy for that specific reason. When you know the outcome of a sporting event, it takes away all of the
100%.
pizzazz from it. And
That's why a lot of people were bummed when Gable came back to college wrestling. They're like,
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's a coronation.
Well, something we talked about coming into the year. It's like it's gonna be a fun year because it doesn't feel like there's many weights where it's like there's a next topic guy. Like Mitchell was kind of, but other than that, every other weight you could make so many cases, and so with 57, I think it's a good thing. I'm glad.
On that note, FRL Q Asker said with Gable back is former NCAA champion Greg Kerfley now the least likely PSU wrestler to win a title this year.
I don't think so.
Not the least likely.
No.
Not the least.
Well, actually, you know what?
But you have to include the fact that there's a chance Gable gets injured.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm willing to include that fact.
So it's like, is Braden, Josh Barr, and who's?
I guess you also have to assume starter because it's like there's 20 guys on that team that have zero chance.
But I'm just saying, at first it was like you're giving Kerkfleet more of a chance than Zare or Geno.
Well,
Gable.
if Gable gets injured, then Zare would.
I don't think he's the least likely PSU wrestler. I mean, I don't want to get. Yeah, probably Braden at this point.
Yeah, I think the question is who's more likely, Greg or Braden?
Or Barr. Or Luke.
Luke's. I feel like it might make, if Gable doesn't get hurt, it might make Greg the least likely.
Yeah, could.
Which is crazy to say. It's insane, but it might be true.
Yeah, it could be true. It's a good cue. Ask.
Because you give all those guys, you give Braden, you give Barr like a chance to win, but like, I mean, we kind of said at the top of the show, like Gable's like a next topic.
I agree. Yeah, maybe he is.
Crazy. Good question. Next one. Weird that Tyler works in promoting Flow Wrestling but doesn't have an X handle. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he used to be on. He was a part of a radical group of people.
Radical boys.
Yeah.
Whatever, dude.
Yeah, I used to be on there.
You got to work a little harder to promote Flow Wrestling.
I am on X. I promote it using the Flow Wrestling X account.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Let's just pretend that the Flow Wrestling is Tyler. So anything you have to say to Tyler, he will see it.
Let's start rumors that every account that we don't know if is anonymous, that's his burner.
I think this is probably from
Braves fan ATL. You always have been a Braves fan.
Fortunately, his jacket is the Atlanta Braves cover.
Yeah, you and Shane Sparks talk about how you love the 90s Braves so much. You love Greg Maddux.
Fortunately for you olds, X is kind of a dying platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
They don't like links anymore.
It can die.
No links.
It can die?
No, it won't die.
It'll die by my hands.
I mean, like message boards aren't dead, but they're more or less dead.
It will also die by my hands.
Yeah, it's just the olds.
It's fine. We'll just ban TikTok and Twitter will die. And
Is that actually happening? Is it actually going to get banned?
I haven't kept up.
It could get appealed to the Supreme Court, but if they reject it, then it's going to be done unless it gets sold to an American company.
It's
just one less
potential investing opportunity.
Just one less platform we have to post to, boys.
Yeah.
Facebook will come up, or Meta will come up with like 2 more. There's Threads.
Here's what I like about like TikTok and Instagram. There's no chance for good discussion. That's still kind of a thing on X.
Yeah.
I don't want that good discussion. I just want takes and quick dopamine hits.
You just want videos of
As a youth.
Yeah.
I don't want to gain actually any intelligence. Just give me dopamine hits.
I don't gain
Like
much
doom
intelligence on Twitter either.
I'll tell you what, for someone that likes to follow the geopolitical news stuff and the global events, the following Syria in real time, it was in the span of like 10 days, that country went from like still ruled by a horrible dictator to, the rebels have taken the Capitol building and are flying the freedom flag everywhere. It's pretty wild.
Do that on TikTok as well.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'll never find out because I'm too old for TikTok. But Twitter was still very valuable to me as a resource for learning news. But as far as most stuff, yeah, whatever.
High school wrestling legend wants to know who's the bigger lock, Messenbrink or Gable?
Gable.
His next topic.
I mean, Messenbrink, yeah, I mean, he's a really big favorite, but I think Gable's a bigger favorite. Yeah.
Okay. This is our last question. Isaiah Rea, he said, any word on what's going on with Caleb Larkin? And if he's in the field at 157, is he a title contender?
I believe he's out for the year with an injury.
Sad.
Tough run for the Sun Devils.
Well, we kind of there are other questions that we kind of addressed already through the process of the show. It is 11:29 a.m.
Wow. We threaded the needle perfectly. You get 1 minute of free time, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We're going to be back next Monday. Flow Wrestling Radio Live. Make sure you're keeping it on flow. We'll keep you up to date with everything going on in college wrestling. For JD Spay and Tyler, I'm Christian Piles. Thanks to our producer, Ever. We'll see you next time. Have a good weekend. Goodbye.